swinging in, and it is a fair ball, and WAYZATA wins it. Champlin Park back to state for the third straight year.
Welcome to Sports Jam for the week of May 14th. I'm Jay Wilcox.
And I'm John Jacobson. This week on the show, another full week of highlights, plus a closer look at the growing sport of boys volleyball. And Jay talks with the Armstrong baseball team that's ready for a busy week of key games. Let's get this train rolling with some girls lacrosse. Osseo Park Center and Champlin Park were two of the four Northwest Suburban Conference teams with one loss in the conference, chasing Blaine for the top spot in the league. First half of play of this one, Osseo Park Center's Lariah Boone looks for a pass, decides to shoot it herself here, and she scores. OPC takes a 3-1 lead on Champlin Park. The Rebels come back. Lydia Breck, nice pass to Clara Johnson, who scores, tying the game at 3. And the Rebels will take a lead into halftime. Cameron Mayer to Kyler Shack here for a goal. And the Rebels are up 5-3 on OPC at halftime. Second half, and Champlin Park extends its lead. Allie Kelly dodges one defender, goes in to score, and the Rebels have a 7-4 lead with 17.5 minutes to play. But the Crocs rally. Rachel Manning behind the net out front. Sonia Coombs scores, and it's 7-6. Teams are tied 8-8 at the end of regulation. Finally, late in the third overtime, Manning passes to Boone, who finds an opening and scores. Osseo Park Center wins at 9-8. Crocs stay within a game of first place, and they host Centennial in the big game on Wednesday. Cooper's girls lacrosse team lost its only 2 Metro West Conference games so far, but the Hawks have cleaned up on non-conference opponents. Cooper at home facing the St. Paul Bobcats last week. Early first half, Cooper's Lauren Welly gets free, and she'll go in and score, and giving the Hawks a 1-0 lead. St. Paul's Grace Tillotson, unchallenged here. She'll come from behind the Cooper net, turning and scoring. That ties the game up at 1. Kayla Johnson picks up a ground ball near the St. Paul net, and she'll beat the goalie with her shot for a Cooper goal. The Hawks have a 4-2 lead. Still in the first half, a nice run to the net by Cooper's Maria Girding. She scores the Hawks' 5th goal of the game, and they lead at 5-2. Steph Sorensen closes the scoring in the final minute of the first half. She'll come back in front and score here. That's the 7th goal of the half. They had 6 more in the second half, winning 13-6, and now 4-0 in non-conference games.
Also in lacrosse, WAYZATA played host to rival Minnetonka in a girls-boys doubleheader. Minnetonka looking for the season sweep in the girls' game. WAYZATA's in white. Anna Laugen gets it to Ashton Utsi as she scores just before falling to tie it 1-1. The Skippers surge ahead. Kelly Cole takes the pass and speeds toward the Trojans' net before tucking it away for a 5-3 Tonka lead. WAYZATA responds as Laugen goes up high with a shot from the free position just before the defenders converge on her. This game is tied up 5-5 at halftime. Minnetonka takes control early in the second half as Julia Gallagly takes the feed in front and scores a nice goal for a 7-5 lead. Minnetonka outscores WAYZATA 6-2 in the second half to secure an 11-7 win.
Now to boys lacrosse, where WAYZATA's boys are ranked in the top 10 and coming off back-to-back state tournament appearances. Minnetonka, the opponent for a second time this season for the Trojans. WAYZATA beat them the first time around. Great start for Tonka. Late first quarter, Grant Brunsvold takes the pass and converts. His goal gives the Skippers a 3-1 lead after a quarter. Second quarter, Max McGraw gets some power behind this shot and rifles it in. Tonka's up 7-2 at halftime. But the Trojans stage a big rally and starting in the third quarter. Alex Sally to Dalton Sees. His goal makes it 7-4. Later in the third quarter, Brooks Hansen finds Sees. He'll rip another shot in. He scores 4 times in the third quarter. These teams are tied at 8 going into the fourth. But the Skippers go back ahead and they hold the lead in the fourth quarter. Hunter Abraham scores the team's 11th goal of the night. Minnetonka wins it 11-10, just the second loss of the season for WAYZATA.
It's been a struggle for the Osseo baseball team this spring. The Orioles were looking for their first win as they played a thriller on Thursday. The Orioles on the road to take on Spring Lake Park. Osseo gets on the board in the second inning as Adam Lanners drives one over the center fielder's head. Matt Holine is the second of 2 runners to score on the play. It's a double for Lanners. The Orioles lead 2-0 after an inning and a half. It stays that way until the bottom of the 6th. Mickey Zeller drives it to deep right center. They get back-to-back run-scoring doubles for Spring Lake Park to tie it up at 3-3. To the top of the 7th, and Tim Lavin up for Osseo, and he'll lay down a suicide squeeze bunt, and Osseo is not satisfied with 1 run. Andrew Shaw comes around from second to also score on the play. The Orioles are back in front 5-3. But the Panthers aren't done. Bottom of the 7th, Sam Fritz knocks it back up the middle to score Jackson Fenn with the tying run. We go to extra innings, tied at 5. The top of the 8th, bases loaded, and Shaw lines a single to right. Scores Holine with the go-ahead run, and Osseo's up 6-5. After a base hit and error gets the Panthers' leadoff hitter to third with no outs. He tries to score, but third baseman Lanners throws to catcher John Klein for the tag at the plate as Osseo holds on to win for the first time this season. 6-5 is the final.
Osseo's district rival Park Center has opened some eyes with some big wins on the diamond this spring. Pirates paid a visit to Totino Grace in Northwest Suburban Conference play. The Pirates get on the board in the top of the 2nd. Pitch to Dylan McKenzie in the dirt, allowing Spencer Harrington to dash home for a 1-0 lead. An inning later, Park Center is up 2-0 when Harrington lines a single to left. It scores Mitch Meyer, and the Pirates build the lead to 3-0. Bottom of the 3rd, the Eagles bunt for a run. Carter Gier gets it down. Ryan Suggs comes home. That cuts the deficit to 3-1. 4th inning, Riley Peterson delivers a base hit to center that's not fielded cleanly. McKenzie comes in to score for Park Center, and they lead it 4-1. And they keep scoring. In the 6th, Peterson with a long drive to the base of the fence in left center. McKenzie scores, and it's 5-1. Next batter, Sam Kill. And he wraps a single to center to score Tanner Sherva. The Pirates stretch the lead to 6-1 through the top of the 6th. Grace with the bases loaded in the bottom of the frame, but Quinn German's liner right at the third baseman. The Eagles settle for 1 run. They trail at 6-2. Sherva and the Pirates tack on 2 more insurance runs in the 7th. Park Center reaches the 500 mark with a 8-2 win over Totino Grace. A nice win, Jay, for Park Center.
That's right. The teams in the Northwest Suburban baseball race have really taken turns beating each other. I don't think there's a dominant team, but all of them are capable of winning on any given day. Next up on Sports Jam as we continue, track, tennis, and softball highlights. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Sports Jam, and time to talk track and field.
That's right. Some True Team section meets held last week. John getting ready for this week's True Team state meet. Hopkins the site for the Section 7 3A True Team. And in yellow, WAYZATA's Drake Daniels wins the 110 hurdles for the Trojans. In the boys 100 meters, in white on the right side of the screen, Joe Fonblay of Hopkins. He wins this event and also the 200 and triple jump. The girls 4x200 relay, and this one is a close battle on the left. WAYZATA will just edge Eden Prairie for the top spot by 11/100ths of a second. In the boys 4x200, Hopkins and anchor George Jackson racing to an easy win by nearly 4 seconds. Eden Prairie with a little tumble at the finish line edges WAYZATA for second. In the boys 1600 meters, it's Khalid Hussein of WAYZATA leading wire to wire. He edges Torrin Christensen of Chanhassen for the victory. So we check out the team scores. WAYZATA takes the boys title with Hopkins second, and they're followed by Eden Prairie and Edina. The WAYZATA girls also take first with Minnetonka second. Eden Prairie is third and Hopkins fourth. WAYZATA hosts the Lake Conference meet this week, and the True Team state meet is Friday at Stillwater. If it feels like the spring season flew by, we'd have to agree. Boys tennis playoffs get started this week. In regular season action, Robbinsdale rivals meeting as Armstrong hosts Cooper. Number 1 singles, Cooper's Dominique Ugezwa in the far court against Henry Scott. A nice forehand leads to a return into the net by Scott. Same match, and Scott with a strong serve that is returned wide. Scott wins the match as the Falcons dominate most of the day. At number 2 singles, Armstrong's David Wynn is in the near court. A nice forehand sets up a strong backhand as Wynn beats Andy Columbus of Cooper. To third singles, Cooper's Toby Ryberg is in the far court against Tony Roush of Armstrong. Ryberg will come to the net, but Roush calmly hits a well-placed passing shot on his way to a 6-0, 6-0 win for the Falcons. At number 1 doubles, Armstrong's Evan Axel and Ben Layton execute perfectly here as they beat Fisher Zeman and Lucas Damon. Armstrong wins 7-0. Both teams compete in the Section 5 AA team tournament this week.
Now to softball, where the two Lake Conference teams that we cover met up in a high-scoring contest. Hopkins playing at WAYZATA. In the top of the first, Morgan Hawley's hit scores Parker Stoddard, part of the 3-run first for Hopkins. Bottom of the second, Grace Noble golfs the low pitch to the right field fence to score 2. And WAYZATA takes a 4-3 lead on a 2-out triple by Noble. Bottom of the third, it's 4-all. Anna Engelman's hit plates Allison Miller, and the Trojans lead it 6-4 after 4. Top of the fourth, the Royals draw even. Stoddard with a fly ball to the fence and scores Evelyn Barsick. And this game is tied at 6. Bottom of the fourth inning, a ground ball gets through the Hopkins infield and 2-run score for an 8-6 WAYZATA lead. The Trojans are up 10-6 after 5. Top of the sixth, 2-on, 2-out. Madeline Burnt comes through with the hit to score 2 runs, cutting the WAYZATA lead to 10-8. The Royals add another run in the 7th. WAYZATA holds on for a wild 10-9 win.
Earlier in the week, the Royals hosted Visitation. Bottom of the second, Macy Shadarashvili pokes the base hit to score Annika Krauser for a 1-0 Royals lead, and that one starts a big inning. Maddie Burnt sends a fly ball to the gap to score Sydney Bloomquist, and it's 2-0 favor of Hopkins. Then with 2 outs and 2 on, Natalie Den Hartog lofts a fly ball to the right field corner. Shadarashvili is one of 2 runners to score on the play, and the Royals lead it 4-0. Bottom of the third, Krauser gets a pitch up in the zone and crushes it over the fence for a solo home run and a 5-0 Hopkins lead. Visitation gets a run in the 6th and 2 in the 7th, but their rally falls short. The Royals win this one 6-3.
Rogers High School will join the Northwest Suburban Conference beginning in the fall of 2019. The Royal softball team came to Maple Grove last week and visited a future conference opponent, Maple Grove. Rogers gets on the board in the first inning. Krista Felber hitting that one hard when the Crimson took the out at first base. Allie Roberts scores. Rogers makes plays in the field early. Riley Roden with a sliding catch in right center field. 4th inning, Rogers will add another run. Grace Mammon flares one just over first base and in. Abby Brewer scores on the hit, and the Royals lead 2-0. Still in the 4th, Rogers adds another run and a pass ball. Roden scores from third. It's 3-0 Royals through 4 innings. Maple Grove has a chance to score here. Sophie Culhane rips a drive off the shortstop's glove, but the left fielder makes the throw in. And Emma Rooks puts the tag on Jenna Grunick for the out, and it stays 3-0. Maple Grove does get a run in the 6th inning. Ava Dueck heads to second base in the attempted steal. She'll make it in the back end of the play. Marie Pallinge comes home on the delayed steal, make it 3-1, and that's the final as Rogers wins it. And congratulations, Jay, to the Osseo softball team. The Orioles scored 3 runs in the 5th inning Friday night on the way to a 4-2 win over Maple Grove in the team's annual game at Maple Grove Middle School.
Yeah, Osseo's had a little bit of a tough year. I think a win like that, when they beat Maple Grove, it counts for like 3 wins right. For their team. So congratulations to them. Next up in our Sports Jam Spotlight, we feature a sport that's gaining traction in a few local high schools, boys volleyball.
Boys volleyball is gaining a foothold here in Minnesota. It's been around for years through private clubs, but for the first time this spring, it's now a sport at a few local high schools. Here's this week's Sports Jam Spotlight.
Luke Nelson is a junior at WAYZATA High School. He's played 6 years of volleyball and was excited when he found out he would have the chance to play as part of a high school team this year.
Every single year you're playing with the same guys and playing against them, and being able to play against new guys and against different places and getting to travel more and having more fans there as well, and getting more cheering and new people into the sport. It's so much fun just to see these guys grow as well.
The sport is just at the club level at a few local schools. The Osseo North Metro team is actually a co-op featuring players from 8 high schools, including Osseo, Park Center, Brooklyn Center, and WAYZATA, and featuring players of different skill levels.
It's been a challenge, but it's also been really fantastic. The most amazing part, though, is watching the other teams improve. Every week, all the other teams are just getting better and better. It's just an amazing event, and watching the boys really enjoy it, and seeing the athletes that are participating is just absolutely fantastic for the sport.
Joe Yang is a senior at Park Center and had only played volleyball with family and friends prior to this spring. Experience here has helped develop his skills.
What I've improved is that my timing when I go and hit the ball to get over the ball, and the way that I pass the ball to my setter. It was pretty bad when I first started here, but now that I think of it, it got him way better than before, thanks to my team.
Hopkins is another of the 20-plus high schools featuring varsity and junior varsity teams. Coach Jeff Hochstein grew up playing boys volleyball in Chicago, where it's a big sport. He sees the potential for its growth here in Minnesota.
It's such a girls volleyball hotbed right now that boys volleyball has really picked up steam, and there's tons and tons of guys who want to play, and we're getting them out on the court, and we're seeing that these guys can ball. You know, balls are getting hit hard, balls are getting dug, the skills are there. There's talent, there's skill, there's guys who have been playing outdoor their whole lives, and it's awesome to finally get these guys on a court with 6 teammates and playing volleyball.
Sam Eklund plays varsity soccer and Nordic skis at Hopkins and wanted a spring sport to compete in this year. His teammate Charming Bang had to be talked into playing, but he's glad he came out.
I found out by my friend, and she was like, you guys should join, and then I didn't join because I was like, oh well, I don't really want to play, but my brother, he joined, and then he kind of introduced me into it. He's like, you should come. I'm like, I came to practice once and I liked it.
I'm definitely glad that it was during my last year, so I get to try it out. But yeah, it's been super fun and kind of learning with everybody. Even your opponents are at the same level kind of you are, so all the games have been super competitive, which has been really nice.
Teams generally play matches 2 nights a week and practice once or twice a week.
1, 2, 3, 4!
The 2-month season goes through the end of May. The players are trying to grow the sport and are finding out a lot of their friends don't even know their team exists.
When I bring it up, they're like, oh, you play here at WAYZATA? And I said, no, WAYZATA doesn't have a team. They don't even know that we don't have a team. They think that we have a team when I mention it. So they're completely confused when they realize that I play for a different school. So they don't even know anything about it. And you know, I bet the most commonly asked question after I say I play volleyball is they're like, it's not a girls' sport?
Whenever they ask me what I do, I'd be like, I play volleyball for Osseo, and they'd be like, what? We got a volleyball team? And I'm just like, yeah, y'all didn't know about it, but I did.
But everyone here is excited about boys volleyball. Osseo North Metro coach Gintis Garces is looking forward to the years ahead.
You know what, I'd love to see this as a sanctioned sport. I think it's an amazing sport that a lot of people just don't really get exposed to. I would love to see us also being able, as the boys sport as a whole, have players from Minnesota competing at a national level where they're playing in colleges and club tournaments and getting a chance to really, you know, let the country know what great athletes we have here in Minnesota.
Osseo North Metro is the only unbeaten team so far, coming into this week with an 11-0 record. Jay talks baseball with the Armstrong Falcons next.
Welcome back to Sports Jam. It's been a great start to the season for the Armstrong baseball team, despite their first conference loss on Thursday. Still right in the thick of things for the Northwest Suburban title. And we're joined by a couple of their players and also Coach Brian Sobiech. And starting with Brayden Gray, and obviously it's been a crazy spring with the weather for every team. You get a lot of games stacked up, but are you pretty excited with what this team's done so far?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, not really sure what we got coming in this year, and after seeing what we have, the young pitchers stepping up, everyone's stepping up and doing their jobs. I'm very excited what this team can do come down the stretch here come May.
Seems like you've kind of found a way to win games in different ways and everything too. Has it been cool to be in those exciting games where sometimes it comes down to that final at bat?
Oh, absolutely. That's what you play sports for, is right there. Those moments like that with your teammates and the fans cheering and everything. You know, it's just, we're a resilient, scrappy team. That's what we build ourselves around, and being in those types of games just makes everything so much more fun. The school atmosphere, everything as well as that.
Looks like you guys have a lot of games stacked up, 5 games this coming week here. How important a week is it?
You know, I don't want to say it'll make or break the season because it obviously won't, but it's a big week for our team, you know, a bunch of tough opponents in Champlin, Maple Grove, and everything. So we're going to see where we're going to go at it. We're going to take one day at a time, one game at a time, one out at a time, and just see how it teaches us. And our goal is for the section anyway. So if we have a rough week, we're going to move on and move towards section.
Brayden, thanks for joining us, and good luck the rest of the way here.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And Cole Harms, one of the guys getting it done on the mound for Armstrong. You know, has this been a pretty fun season after the late start, all the indoor time?
Yeah, a lot of indoor time because of the snow, but coming out, getting the first game against Hopkins, getting the jitters out, I really feel like we settled in later in the year.
Especially in the conference games, you guys have been able to win a lot of games, but also pull out the close ones. You know, what's been the biggest key for that?
I just think that's been trusting what Sobiech's teaching to us, being scrappy, finding every run we can, whether or not it's wasting outs. I just feel like we are being a really good team.
You guys obviously have a lot of games stacked up here. As a pitcher, you know, do you look forward to the challenge a little bit to see how your staff will be tested playing so many games?
Yeah, a lot of inexperienced guys. You know, I came in with no varsity innings, and stepping on the mound, it's just a really good challenge for me. It's making me grow not only as a sports individual, but as a person going later in life.
All right, good luck in this busy week, and have fun the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you.
And Coach Brian Sobiech, you know, talking to you guys coming into the season, you know, kind of cautiously optimistic, but do you like the way this team's performed for the most part?
Yeah, these guys have really taken on the challenge of being a young team that's got to scrap and work hard, and they've battled through every game. They've been very resilient, like Brayden said. Our pitching staff, our seniors have been great leaders. Our younger kids have come in and thrown strikes, done the job we've asked them to do, and our defense has really played well.
Seems like a lot of teams have sort of taken turns beating each other in the conference, which I guess isn't unusual, but overall, what do you think about what you've seen in the Northwest Suburban so far?
I think it's pretty tough. You know, early on we got a couple games, and some of the games that we won early, we had to squeak out, and even some of the teams that we beat that we didn't squeak out against are playing really well right now. So must have got them at a good time, and you know, we just got to keep it up.
Busy week with 5 games. How much does that test, you know, everybody on this team?
Well, it gives our guys a chance to play. It gives a lot of guys a chance to get at bats. Gives a lot of guys a chance to get innings in the field and on the mound, which is something that we work for throughout the season. And like I've told them all along, it's not about the beginning of the season. It's not about the middle of the season. It's about the end of the season. And so what we're looking for this week is just to get better every game and prepare for sections.
Brian, thanks for joining us, and good luck in this busy week.
Thanks.
All right, Brian Sobiech, the head baseball coach at Armstrong, is his team one of the contenders in the Northwest Suburban coming into this week, and we'll be seeing them on CCX Sports when they take on Champlin Park on Thursday. We'll be back to wrap up Sports Jam, but first it's a look at our plays of the week. As well, puts it right out front. Claudia Olsen, oh, and Shalene denies it.
Seconds, sending it deep downfield, a chance at a goal. Wow! How that ended up in the stick of Brooks' hand, I'll never know.
North Hennepin Community College student support at the President's Cup Golf Classic on June 18th. Find out more at ccxmedia.org under Cities and in the Community.
Our game of the week is a key Northwest Suburban Conference baseball game. It's Champlin Park hosts Armstrong Thursday. See the game live on our website, ccxmedia.org, or catch it on TV channels 7, 99, and 12 Saturday morning at 10. And that is all for this week's show. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next week here on Sports Jam.